Have you checked your pocket lately? Rare US coins alert. Do not spend these coins because these coins are hidden wealth, silent fortune, and worth serious money. Some of these old coins look completely ordinary, but secret collectors are fighting to get them, and the auction prices are absolutely shocking. Today, we're revealing the top 3 most valuable ultra-rare Roosevelt dime, wheat penny, and Washington quarter coins that could change everything. Each coin gets bigger, rarer, and more unbelievable, so stay until the very end, because the last coin could be the hidden treasure you've been carrying without even knowing it. First coin number 1. Now, imagine reaching into your pocket, your coin jar, or that forgotten drawer in your house, and discovering a coin that looks completely normal but is actually hiding a silent fortune. That possibility is exactly why thousands of collectors search through old change every single day. And the first coin on today's list is one of those hidden treasures that most people would spend without a second thought. The 1957 Roosevelt dime with the D mint mark is one of those coins that can quietly sit among ordinary change while carrying a story that collectors cannot stop talking about. At first glance, it looks simple, small, silver gray, familiar. Nothing about it screams wealth. Nothing about it announces that serious money could be attached to it. But that is exactly what makes this coin so dangerous to ignore. Back in 1957, America was moving through a period filled with growth, industry, and change. Families were working hard, businesses were expanding, and millions of coins were moving through the economy every day. The Denver Mint was under constant pressure to produce large numbers of coins to keep commerce flowing smoothly across the country. During periods like this, tiny differences, overlooked details, and surviving examples can become incredibly important decades later. What looked ordinary at the time can become extraordinary when collectors begin searching for the best remaining survivors. The moment you hold a 1957 with D. Roosevelt dime, you can feel that it comes from a different era. The coin carries the portrait of President Franklin Roosevelt on the front, a design that quickly became a symbol of modern American coinage after his passing. On the reverse, the familiar torch stands proudly between olive and oak branches, representing liberty, peace, and strength. The design is elegant, balanced, and instantly recognizable to generations of Americans. But this is where things start getting interesting. This particular coin carries that beautiful silver-gray appearance that experienced collectors love to see. Over the decades, original surfaces can develop a natural look that simply cannot be recreated. The soft aging, the subtle glow, and the honest wear tell a story. Collectors often spend years searching for examples that still possess that original character, because once a coin loses it, the magic can disappear forever. The coin was struck using a composition containing 90% silver and 10% copper, giving it that distinctive appearance and feel that modern coins simply do not have. It weighs approximately 2.5 grams, measures about 17.9 millimeters across, and has a thickness near 1.35 millimeters. Those numbers may sound small, but together they create a coin that feels solid, historic, and authentic in the hand. What makes survival so difficult is that Roosevelt dimes were never treated like treasures. They were used every day. They bought meals, paid bills, and disappeared into cash registers across America. Millions were handled carelessly, dropped, scratched, cleaned, or melted. Every year that passed reduced the number of attractive original examples remaining in the marketplace. And here is a detail that changes everything. The D mint mark, located near the date, tells collectors that this coin came from the Denver Mint. Many people never even notice mint marks, yet collectors study them obsessively. They inspect placement, clarity, strike quality, and overall preservation. Tiny details that most people ignore can become the reason a collector suddenly becomes interested in a coin. Stay till the end, because this story gets even more surprising. A fine condition example with beautiful original surfaces can attract tremendous attention when it appears in front of serious collectors. The reason is simple. Demand keeps rising while available examples become harder to find. Many advanced collectors already have no intention of selling the finest pieces in their collections. They lock them away and hold them for years. As more coins disappear into private collections, the supply available to new buyers keeps shrinking. That creates a fascinating auction environment. Quiet rooms suddenly become intense battlegrounds. Bidders who spent months searching for the right coin can become extremely aggressive when an attractive example appears. What looks like a small silver dime to the average person can become a prize target for someone building a world-class collection. This is not fiction. Collectors understand that originality matters. That beautiful silver-gray shade matters. Honest wear matters. Authentic surfaces matter. In fact, one of the biggest mistakes people make is cleaning old coins. The moment a coin is cleaned, polished, scrubbed, or altered, a significant portion of its collector appeal can vanish. Never clean this coin. Original toning matters. Original character matters. Collectors want history, not artificial shine. Another critical step is professional grading. Many people believe they know the condition of a coin, only to discover that expert evaluation reveals something entirely different. Professional grading can authenticate the coin, evaluate its preservation, and provide the confidence serious buyers demand before spending substantial amounts of money. When searching through old coins, pay close attention to the date, the demint mark, and the overall appearance. Look for natural aging, attractive surfaces, and signs that the coin has not been improperly cleaned. Patience is golden in this hobby. Hidden treasures rarely announce themselves. They hide quietly until someone notices the details everyone else missed. And that brings us to the shock that has collectors paying close attention. A beautiful fine condition 1957 with D. Roosevelt dime, like the one we're discussing, has reached a market value around $140,000. That is not just money. That is hidden wealth. That is a silent fortune. That is the kind of discovery that can completely change how someone looks at a simple coin jar. So remember this warning. Do not spend this coin. Never clean it. Preserve its original toning. Seek professional grading if you think you've found one. Because every day, people accidentally spend coins that could have been worth a fortune. And if you think this Roosevelt dime is unbelievable, wait until you see the next coin. The hidden treasure coming up next is even rarer, even more shocking, and carries a story that makes this dime look tame. Trust me, what comes next is something most people would never forgive themselves for spending. Next, coin number 2. Just when you thought that Roosevelt dime was unbelievable, the next hidden treasure takes the shock to an entirely different level. This is the kind of coin that people overlook every day. It sits in old jars, forgotten boxes, inherited collections, and dusty drawers without anyone realizing they could be holding a silent fortune. And if you have ever ignored an old wheat penny, what you're about to hear might completely change the way you look at every single cent you find. The 1958 with D wheat penny is one of those coins that seems harmless at first glance. Most people see an old penny and assume it is worth exactly 1 cent. That assumption has caused countless valuable coins to disappear back into circulation, where they are spent, lost, or forgotten forever. But collectors know something that the average person does not. Sometimes the smallest coins hide the biggest surprises. Back in 1958, America was standing at an interesting point in history. The country was experiencing economic adjustments, industries were expanding, and the demand for circulating coinage remained extremely high. The United States Mint was working hard to keep up with the nation's growing need for everyday money. Massive quantities of coins were produced and sent across the country, moving through banks, stores, factories, and households. Nobody at the time imagined that decades later, collectors would be carefully studying specific surviving examples from that very year. What makes 1958 especially fascinating is that it marked the final chapter of the famous wheat penny design. An era that had lasted for decades was approaching its end. Soon, a completely different reverse design would replace the familiar wheat ears that Americans had known for generations. That historical transition alone gives the 1958 wheat penny a special place in the hearts of collectors. The moment you hold a 1958 with D wheat penny, you are holding a piece of American history. On the front, the familiar portrait of President Abraham Lincoln appears with a timeless dignity that collectors have admired for generations. The reverse displays the iconic wheat ears that gave the coin its famous nickname. Those wheat stalks frame the lettering in a design that instantly connects collectors to a different era of American life. And this is where the excitement begins. This particular coin comes from the Denver Mint, identified by the small D mint mark. To most people, that tiny letter means nothing. To serious collectors, it can mean everything. Tiny mint mark details often become the focus of intense examination because they help tell the story of where and how the coin was produced. The coin itself was struck using a composition of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc. That blend created the rich appearance that wheat penny enthusiasts love. It weighs approximately 3.11 grams, measures about 19.05 millimeters in diameter, and has a thickness of roughly 1.52 millimeters. In the hand, it carries a presence that feels completely different from modern pennies. It feels connected to a period when coins were made with remarkable attention to detail and durability. Stay till the end because this detail changes everything. Most surviving wheat pennies lived difficult lives. They circulated through countless transactions. They were tossed into pockets, dropped on sidewalks, stored in damp containers, and exposed to decades of wear. Every scratch, stain, and mishandling incident reduced the number of attractive survivors available to future collectors. That is why condition becomes such a powerful factor. A very good condition example still tells an honest story. It reflects real circulation, real history, and real survival. Collectors appreciate originality because originality cannot be recreated. Every mark and every surface characteristic becomes part of the coin's journey through time. Unfortunately, many valuable coins never get the chance to reach collectors because owners make one devastating mistake. They clean them. Never clean this coin. That warning cannot be repeated enough. The moment someone tries to polish an old wheat penny, scrub away its age, or force it to look newer, much of its collector appeal can disappear. Experienced collectors immediately recognize unnatural surfaces. They want authentic history, not artificial shine. Original toning matters. Original color matters. Original surfaces matter. One reason collectors become obsessed with coins, like the 1958 with D wheat penny, is because every surviving example is part of the final wheat penny story. There is a sense that the coin represents the closing moments of a beloved American design. As time passes, more examples are damaged, lost, or locked away in private collections where they may not reappear for decades. That shrinking supply creates intense demand. Collectors who discover an attractive original example often hold onto it tightly. They are not rushing to sell. They understand that finding quality survivors becomes harder every year. The result is a marketplace where demand remains strong while availability continues to decrease. Auction rooms reveal this reality in dramatic fashion. Bidding can begin quietly, almost casually. Then suddenly multiple collectors recognize the opportunity in front of them. The atmosphere changes. Bids rise. Tension grows. What appears to be a simple old penny suddenly becomes the center of a battle between determined buyers who understand its significance. This is not fiction. Some collectors spend years searching through old wheat pennies, hoping to find an overlooked treasure. They study dates, mint marks, strike characteristics, color, and surface quality. They know that hidden fortunes rarely announce themselves. They hide among ordinary coins, waiting for someone who pays attention to the details. If you are checking your own collection, pay close attention to the date. Look for the D-mint mark. Examine the surfaces carefully. Avoid touching the coin excessively. Store it properly. Most importantly, seek professional grading if you believe you have a promising example. Professional authentication can make an enormous difference because serious buyers want confidence before making major purchases. And now comes the number that leaves people speechless. A rare 1958 with D wheat penny in very good condition, like the example we're discussing, has reached a market value of approximately $260,000. Think about that for a moment. A coin many people would ignore, toss aside, or spend without hesitation could represent hidden wealth, quiet fortune, serious money, and a life-changing opportunity. So here is your warning. Do not spend this coin. Never clean it. Protect its original toning and character. Have it professionally evaluated if you find one. Because every year, valuable wheat pennies disappear from collections simply because people fail to recognize what they have. And believe it or not, the final coin on this list is even more shocking. The hidden treasure coming next has collectors watching auctions with absolute intensity, and the value attached to it is enough to make people search every pocket, drawer, and coin jar in their home. What comes next is the kind of rare coin story that changes everything. Next, coin number 3. And now we arrive at the coin that makes collectors stop what they're doing and pay attention. If you thought the Roosevelt dime was impressive and the wheat penny was shocking, what you're about to see is even more dangerous to ignore. This is the kind of hidden treasure that has been accidentally spent, forgotten, and lost for decades. Somewhere right now, one of these coins could still be hiding in an old collection, a family coin jar, or a forgotten box in an attic. And the people who unknowingly spend it may never realize they just gave away a silent fortune. The 1944 with S. Washington quarter is one of those rare coins that immediately captures attention once collectors recognize what they're looking at. To the average person, it looks like an old silver quarter. Nothing more. Nothing special. Just another piece of old change from a different time. But experienced collectors know that appearances can be deceiving. Sometimes, the most ordinary-looking coins hide extraordinary value. The year 1944 was one of the most important periods in American history. The nation was deeply involved in World War II, Industries were operating at full speed, and the economy was under tremendous pressure to support wartime needs. Factories worked around the clock. Resources were carefully managed. Every part of the country was focused on supporting the war effort. Even the production of coins took place against this backdrop of urgency and national responsibility. During such historic times, coins became more than money. They became silent witnesses to history. The quarters produced in 1944 traveled through military bases, factories, local businesses, and family households across the country. Every surviving coin carries a connection to one of the most significant eras America has ever experienced. The design of the Washington quarter remains one of the most recognizable in United States coinage. On the front stands the portrait of President George Washington, strong and dignified, representing leadership and stability during uncertain times. On the reverse, the majestic eagle spreads its wings in a display of power and confidence. The design feels bold, patriotic, and timeless, which is one reason collectors continue to admire these coins generation after generation. But here is where things become truly exciting. This particular coin carries the S mint mark, meaning it was struck at the San Francisco Mint. That small letter may appear insignificant to most people, but collectors know it can dramatically influence desirability. Tiny details like mint marks often separate common coins from highly sought-after treasures. The quarter was struck using 90% silver and 10% copper, giving it a distinctive appearance and feel. When you hold one, it feels substantial and historic. It weighs approximately 6.25 grams, measures about 24.3 millimeters in diameter, and has a thickness near 1.75 millimeters. The coin carries a presence that immediately reminds you it comes from a completely different era of American coinage. Stay till the end because this detail changes everything. Many surviving 1944 with S quarters never had an easy life. They circulated heavily during and after the war years. They passed through countless hands, cash registers, and bank counters. Some were damaged. Others were cleaned improperly. Many disappeared completely through melting or loss. Every year that passed reduced the number of attractive survivors available to collectors. That is why a very fine condition example becomes so important. A coin in very fine condition still displays much of its original beauty while carrying the authentic evidence of decades of history. Collectors love this balance. It shows real circulation and genuine survival without losing the details that make the design so attractive. The surfaces tell a story that cannot be duplicated. And speaking of surfaces, there is something many people do not understand. Original toning matters enormously. A naturally aged silver-gray appearance often attracts serious attention from collectors. Decades of careful aging can create a look that feels authentic, historic, and beautiful. Once someone attempts to clean or polish the coin, that original character can be lost forever. Never clean this coin. That single mistake has destroyed the value of countless rare coins. Collectors want originality. They want genuine surfaces. They want history preserved exactly as it survived. Artificial shine is not what serious buyers are looking for. This is not fiction. Some collectors spend years searching for examples with the right combination of eye appeal, originality, and preservation. They inspect mint marks, strike quality, surface condition, and countless tiny details that most people would never notice. They know that hidden treasures reveal themselves through patience and attention. The demand for coins like the 1944 with S Washington quarter remains strong because supply keeps shrinking. Every year, more examples disappear into long-term collections where owners have no intention of selling. As available inventory becomes smaller, competition for attractive examples becomes more intense. Auction rooms often provide the best example of this reality. Bidding may begin quietly, but once collectors identify a desirable coin, everything changes. Determined buyers compete aggressively. Tension rises. Offers increase. The room becomes focused on a single piece of history sitting under bright lights. What looked like a simple quarter moments earlier suddenly becomes the center of a fierce contest. For anyone searching through old coins, the advice is simple. Check the date carefully. Look for the S-Mint mark. Study the surfaces. Avoid cleaning. Protect originality. Store the coin properly. And if you believe you have an important example, professional grading is critical. Authentication and expert evaluation provide confidence that collectors and buyers demand before making major purchases. And now we arrive at the number that surprises almost everyone. A rare 1944 with S. Washington quarter in very fine condition, like the example we're discussing, has reached a market value of approximately $150,000. That's not just an old coin. That's hidden wealth. That's a silent fortune. That's serious money hiding in plain sight. It's exactly the kind of life-changing opportunity that people accidentally spend every single day because they never stop to check what they have. So remember this warning. Do not spend this coin. Never clean it. Preserve its original toning. Seek professional grading whenever possible. Because once a rare coin is lost, damaged or altered, the opportunity may never return. And that brings us to the end of today's incredible treasure hunt. We uncovered a rare Roosevelt dime, an astonishing wheat penny, and this remarkable Washington quarter, each hiding values that most people would never imagine. These coins prove that hidden treasure still exists and that some of the biggest fortunes can come in the smallest packages. If you enjoyed discovering these rare coins, make sure you like this video, subscribe to Lucky Penny Finds, and turn on notifications so you never miss another hidden treasure alert. New valuable coin discoveries are waiting, and the next coin we reveal could be even rarer, even more valuable, and possibly sitting unnoticed in someone's pocket right now. Before you leave, take one more look through your change, your coin jars, and your old collections. Because somewhere out there, another silent fortune is waiting to be found. And trust me, the rare coin story coming in our next video is even more unbelievable than anything you've seen today.